Hello, everyone, and welcome to Humanist Reacts. So, getting into one that I've wanted to do for a long time now. This is actually one that I have intended to listen to for years, and I keep putting it off. And the reason I keep putting it off is because I wanted to react to it when I listened to it. I didn't want to just listen to it on my own. I wanted to do it with you all. It's a lot more fun and a lot more interesting experiencing songs, and music for the first time with you all, and in this mode where I have to engage with it a little bit more than it is to just listen to it on my own, um, here at home. So, so I'm really excited to finally get around to doing this one. This is Tool Lateralus. A little bit about my background with Tool. I am familiar with their bigger hits, the things that got radio play, like Enema, 46 and 2, Schism, The Pot. I've heard all of those, so I'm not completely ignorant of Tool, but I've not listened to any of their, what I would consider like their deeper cuts. And the only album that I listened to Undertow. I was sober. So I listened to Undertow back when I was like late high school, early 20s, somewhere in that neighborhood, just after I graduated high school. I somehow wound up with the album in my CD collection. That's been a long time ago, so I really don't remember much about it. But I did listen to it back then. I listened to that one all the way through back then. So I have heard that. But hopefully you all enjoy this reaction. If you've been here before, then you know I have a tendency to talk a lot and pause a lot. Hopefully that's something that you enjoy. If not, then no hard feelings. This just might not be the type of reaction for you, and that's cool. But if you do enjoy it, please like, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. We all know how YouTube works. That's how it works. And I appreciate it in any way that you interact with this video, even if you're just watching it. I really appreciate it. So, all of that being said, no more preamble. Let's go ahead and get into it. This is Tool Lateralis. It's quiet. I have this turned up all the way. Yes. Okay. Very clean guitar riff here. What's that sound coming in? Wop, 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 wop. It's kind of like a heartbeat. It feels like a heartbeat when I've got a really stuffy head and I can hear my heart beating inside of my own head. Very cool. Okay. Here come the drums. Or is that just the bass? Or is it both? Oh. What a great build up and payoff. I love the drum pattern there, that sort of almost tribal. That's really good. That build up is so good. Tool are so good at that. They do that in um, the way that they will take a sound and just let it repeat for a little while and then morph into something else. They do that in the beginning of Enema, and I've always really loved it also. But yeah, it's really good. I love that build up, and um, and just letting you all know, I do have the lyrics pulled up on Genius. I'm not going to use any of the annotations because I don't like to do that. I like to puzzle things out on my own. My personal feeling about music is that it's more important what it means to you and what you get out of it than it is what the intention was behind it. Although I do think that the intention behind it can enhance your experience once you have already experienced it through your own lens. And sometimes can even change the way that you think about it. And that's okay. But I think that the act of experiencing something in your own way is important when it comes to music. So anyway, the first verse here is very interesting, the way that he's delivering these lines too, the very staccato and making every word important, making every word stand out rather than just like black then white are all I see in my infancy. That could have been like black then white are all I see could have just been one line, and instead it's 4 lines, so that each little separate part of it feels important. Anyway, so I take that group of that first half of the verse there. I take that to mean when you're an infant, you only see things in black and white. You only see good and bad, or good and evil. You only see joy and fear. You don't really see the shades of gray or all of the color spectrum. You don't see the things in between, or the things that are a mixture of good and bad. You don't see nuance. You just see black and white. And then it follows up with, and I think this kind of bears out my initial reaction to what that's about. Red and yellow then came to be, reaching out to me, lets me see. Red and yellow being different colors other than black and white, right? Like depending on whether you're dealing with light or like paint. In paint you mix all of the colors together and you get black, and in light you mix all of the colors together and you get white. So you have to fragment those out when it comes to light in order to see the different colors. Or you have to not put them all in when it comes to paint in order to see those colors. You can't muddle them all up. So that's kind of how I'm reading that, and I think it helps. I think maybe they're talking more specifically about light here as well as a metaphor. Obviously, light as a metaphor for morality, or for your sense of good and wrong, of right and wrong. But I think they are using light as that metaphor because it says "lets me see," and light is what we see. Light is all that we see. So that makes sense to me personally. But yeah, so red and yellow then came to be, reaching out to me, lets me see. So at first I only saw things in black and white. Then later I started to see things in different shades, such as red and yellow. And that opens my eyes, lets me see reality instead of just seeing things through this very narrow lens of good or bad. That's what I get out of this so far. Anyway, we're backing up just a little bit. Let me back up far enough that I can catch that drop again, because that was so good, and I just want to experience it again. And then we'll go through. Yeah, good. That's far enough back. God, they make it so hard to grasp what they're doing there. It's like you get the rhythm for a second there, and then they take it away. Okay. Hang on. Back in Black Then White. Let's go over these other lyrics here, though. So, as below, so above, and beyond I imagine. That makes me think, and I'm assuming it's not, that it's intentional. As above, so below, which is, I think, a Wiccan thing, or some kind of pagan thing. Basically, like making reality below here on Earth match the reality of heaven. Is I think how I've kind of understood that, but I'm not. I mean, that's certainly not my area of expertise to the degree that I have an area of expertise. I'm just some dude who likes music and likes doing reactions. So I'm not one of these channels that's going to be like, I'm a composer, and I'm just some dude. So I don't. So if there are things that I don't know, hey, that gives you all an opportunity to show your area of expertise in the comments and teach me stuff. I really enjoy that. So anyway, so as above, so below, or as below, so above, and beyond, I imagine. But so I think that's like, it's a mirror of below is a mirror of above. What we're seeing here in the physical realm is a mirror of what's happening in the spiritual realm, is what I take that to mean. And when he says, and beyond, I imagine, to me that means, and there may be things beyond physical and spiritual as well, and those are just reflections also. They're all just reflections of one another, drawn beyond the lines of reason. Drawn and lines feels like talking about art here. And that goes back to the color theory as well that I was talking about earlier. Art, colors, mixing of colors, black and white, red and yellow, lines that are drawn on paper. And then I think here in just a minute, he says drawing way outside the lines. So talking about following your own path artistically. And I think art is a metaphor here for a spiritual journey, but it is, but art is something that's being referenced here at the very least, drawn beyond the lines of reason, push the envelope, watch it bend, push the envelope, watch it bend. I imagine watch it bend is saying like, the further you push something, the more you realize that it's not solid. It can move with you. It can adapt. Like things are not as rigid as you think they are. And then this is. I want to say fuck you for these lyrics, because now they're overthinking, overanalyzing separates the body from the mind. I am overthinking and overanalyzing. Thank you very much. I know that that's something that I do, and that's definitely something that I'm doing here in this song. Very much overthinking and overanalyzing this, and separates the body from the mind. That withering my intuition, missing opportunities, and I must. So when you're connected, mind and body, then you're a little bit more in tune with your intuition, your instincts. You're a little closer to the what would traditionally be considered the state of an animal, who's reacting based on their surroundings. The more in tune you are, the more wrapped up you are in what's going on in your mind, in overanalyzing and overthinking and stuff like that, the more you're not in tune with what's going on in your body and physically right here around you. Is kind of how I read that lyric. Feed my will to feel my moment, drawing way outside the lines. Feed my will to feel my moment. I'm not sure if I get that part. Feed my will to feel my moment. I guess feeding your ego as a way to feel things, as a way to attempt to feel things, and drawing outside the lines maybe suggests that it doesn't work, maybe. But also drawing outside the lines, I feel like, is a good thing in the terms of this song, because drawing outside the lines is how you push the envelope, like you was talking about a minute ago, and you see that it bends when you push it. Anyway, very interesting lyrics. There's a lot to dig into here, and I probably will read these annotations later and see what all I've missed, and see if I can get a stronger understanding of this. But like I said, I feel like the first time through, you should really feel it and try and comprehend it yourself. Anyway, all right, back into it. Love how that comes in too. Next verse. There is so much more and beckons me to look through to these infinite possibilities. It's talking about being stuck in to me, this is talking about being stuck in a rut, stuck in a certain frame of mind, and not opening up your mind to other possibilities. Being overly convinced that you're right about something. It's kind of how I take that, and yeah, I'm guilty of that. I think we're all guilty of that. I think that's why it's a powerful message, is because everybody's guilty of doing this to some degree. We all, if you're questioning everything all the time, then you're psychotic. You can't exist in this world, in this physical world. You have to strike a balance between the ability to think, to question everything and think outside of the norm, and the ability to accept reality as it exists. Anyway, interesting. So it beckons me to look through to these infinite possibilities. This is talking about the call to that as well. It's beckoning me. It's not just that I want to look into other possibilities. It's that I feel called, I feel compelled to do so. Right? And then back into as below, so above and beyond, I imagine. I like also, he repeated the first verse as if we came back to it, as if we were through the verse and the pre-chorus and the chorus and the post-chorus, which is what they're calling them on Genius. I don't know what you would call those, but sure. The structure of this song, I feel like, has a way of defying definitions. So defying definement anyway. But you go through that first verse and the first range of chorus-like parts there as if you're working on, you start out just seeing things in black and white, and then at the end you're maybe realizing that you're overanalyzing, and that you're separating your body from your mind, and then you crash back down, and then you have to repeat from thinking in black and white again. And that's why the verse repeats. That's what I'm taking away here so far. That's why the verse repeats. You have to repeat that. But you repeat that, and then you feel this beckoning. You feel this calling to look for those infinite possibilities again. There's a lot going on in this. All right. Anyway. Oof. Okay, that solo was so cool. It was it wasn't overly technical. It was just the right notes. It was playing the right. It reminds me of and and I'm not comparing the two. It just reminds me of this. Reminds me of an article that I read a long time ago, an interview with Stevie Ray Vaughan, and he was talking about playing a set with B.B. King, and he was talking about how Stevie himself, he was talking about how he was just just playing his heart out the whole time, just going ham, trying to impress B.B. King, and B.B. was just sitting on his amplifier playing rhythm for like the whole set, he said. And then after a few songs, finally BB stood up and played one note. And he said, but it was the right note. He said, and I died. That's how it feels when somebody is playing a solo and they're just playing the correct notes to get the emotion of the song across. And that's how that felt. That solo felt. I really, really liked that. And then I loved the way that he's coming back into this feed my will to feel this moment, but this time he's screaming it. He's delivering it so much differently, and it has a different feel to it now. And instead of feed my will to feel this moment drawing way outside the lines, this time it's urging me to cross the line. Like before, there was this feeling, that, oh no, I'm drawing outside the lines. Like, as if I was losing control. Now I'm feeling a pull, urging me, beckoning me, as you said earlier, calling me to cross the line, to go across the line, to maybe go from rationality into madness, or to cross the line into, well, as he says, reaching out to embrace the random. The random is chaos, right? Chaos is the antithesis of order. And we need order to live. We have to have order. That's what this reality that we live in gives us, is order. And there's comfort in that, but there's the feeling of a call to reach out into the chaos, to embrace the random, and as he says, embrace whatever may come. Just throw caution to the wind, essentially. Anyway, all right. This is a callback to the very beginning of the song, with this clean guitar. There, oh, you're teasing that opening riff. that guitar solo was so chaotic, and so wild, and there's something to that here too, where he's talking about embracing, not just embracing the wild, but embracing our divinity. I embrace my desire to feel the rhythm, to feel connected enough to step aside and weep like a widow, to feel connected to the cosmic tides, I'll say, to the ebb and flow of fate, to fathom the power, to witness the beauty, to bathe in the fountain, to swing on the spiral. So obviously the first thing I think of when I think of a spiral is the spiral arm of a spiral galaxy, the arm that, as something spirals, there's this sort of arm that arches out from it, and there's the central core, but then there's the parts that are kind of being pulled along, and they're branching off from the main core of the thing that is spiraling, and that's what I think of, that you're swinging on that arm of the spiral. I also think of so a lot of you know that I'm an atheist. I consider myself an atheist. I don't believe in a God. I don't consider myself to be spiritual either, because I don't have any evidence that that's reality. But there is this little part of me that I'm admitting to here on camera that's left over from an experience I had a long time ago, where my experience was that it was as if I stepped back from my body and mind and my place in this universe, in this physical universe as it stands, and I saw infinite branching paths coming from my current circumstance, and recognized my consciousness as something that had chosen to be in this particular moment at any given time. Now I know that sounds awfully spiritual for an atheist, but it's something that I've had trouble letting go of, even as a self-proclaimed atheist. There is this feeling that I can see that as being represented as a spiral, those infinite branching paths that I experienced at that time. I can see that being represented as a spiral, and so there's something to that, maybe, that I can never quite let go of. And that's, and could that be considered, he says here, swing on the spiral of our divinity and still be a human? Could there be something to that there's that feeling of, could that be the spiral that I'm swinging on? Like, this is the outer edge of that spiral and all of those branching paths that led me to this little piece of the spiral that I'm swinging on right now as a human. I don't know, it's an interesting imagery considering. That's just had to share that. Right in that guitar solo was so chaotic and so messy. But the messiness really fits in this feeling of losing control, this feeling of embracing the random. It suits it. Anyway, alright, continue. Okay, alright. This is like chanted. This is as almost like a magic spell that's being spoken in an incantation to materialize the things that you're saying with my feet upon the ground. So talking about being in the physical world, I'm rooted here in reality. I lose myself between the sounds, those moments of silence, right? Those are the times that you're really able to draw in and think of things differently. Is during those moments of silence, the times between the sounds. I open wide to suck it in. This feels like he's talking about meditation, maybe. Open wide to breathe in. I feel it move across my skin. This is a thing that you do in meditation as well. Meditation can be very, very therapeutic and very useful for some people. So I don't necessarily have a problem with meditation, even though I don't believe in the religion that births it. But you try and connect to your body when you're meditating and feel the sensations, the ones that you ignore when you're not meditating, the ones that become background noise. The gentle play of air across your skin that's always there, but that you just tune out most of the time. Grounding, connecting yourself, feet upon the ground, solid. I feel it move across my skin. I'm reaching up and reaching out. Reaching for divinity, reaching for a higher purpose, reaching for something beyond the physical, something beyond the profane. Reaching out for the random. Reaching out for something beyond the rules, outside the lines. as he mentioned earlier, reaching out for something chaotic. Whatever will bewilder me wants to feel bewildered, wants to feel awe, be surprised by something again. And following our will and wind, our will is our willpower, what we determined, what we've decided we're going to do, and our wind, our following our breath, the thing that keeps us alive. We may just go where no one's been. This feels like he's talking about meditating in some way, and then in the hope that he will be able to project into a different reality, a different experience, reaching out, trying to grab a hold of that spiral, the edge of that spiral. Will ride the spiral to the end and may just go where no one's been, riding that spiral out, keep going, keep looking for the next edge of the spiral. Don't stay in the center where everything else is and it's spinning so uniformly in the center. But the more you go out, the more chaotic it becomes. Search out for the spiral. Keep spiraling out, looking for the more chaotic, the more random, and experience more than what is in front of your face. That's what I'm getting from all of this. I've talked enough about it. Let's hear the end of it. And at the end there, they did it to me again with the weird time signature thing that they'd been doing throughout, where they shifted so that when I expect a hit, it's not when I'm getting it, which really kind of goes in together with all of the talk of randomness that's going on in this song also. The unexpected rhythm, or because it's not like it's out of sync. It's just not what you expected, right? Well, this was an experience. I'm so glad I finally got around to doing this song. This was really good, really fantastic. I can't wait to do more Tool. I think probably my next one's going to be Parabol or Parabola, one of those two, or The Grudge. those are other ones that I've seen a lot of people react to. So I'm assuming those are ones that are really good, like this one, and worth reacting to. So anyway, if you stuck around this long, I really appreciate you. I know I talk a lot, and I know I've taken a lot of your time by doing this video. If you've stuck around this long, I'm very grateful to you, and I appreciate you. Thank you for being on this journey with me. And until next time, I'll take care.